Advisory Board meeting of the City of Calhoun, July 13th, 2017 at 4:30 p.m. Let me ask first, has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes of the May 4th, 2017 Zoning Advisory Board, which aren't very long, as we did not have a quorum, but has everybody had a chance to look at those? Is there any motion to amend, or do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion in 2 seconds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, then very quickly to review the policy and procedures for the Zoning Advisory Board meeting. Agenda items are introduced in alphabetical order. The report of the legal organ regarding publications on agenda items, posted signs on proposed properties, notification evidence to adjoining property owners by the city administrator or designee shall be provided. The applicant may make a presentation and may be questioned by the members of the Zoning Advisory Board. Comments from the general public are allowed if they have filed disclosure notices 5 days before the hearing per Title 36, Chapter 67A of the Official Code of Georgia annotated. Each person speaking shall provide their name and address. That's so Ms. Nelson over here can make sure that that's properly recorded in the minutes. Again, before speaking, you need to make sure you tell us your name and your address. The applicant may rebut negative comments, and a maximum time limit of 10 minutes for each side shall be set by the chair. And let me first ask if everyone has the standards governing the exercise of zoning power in the City of Calhoun included in each of their manuals if they need it for reference.
Yes.
Everybody? All right. Does anyone on the Zoning Advisory Board have an ownership interest or other pecuniary type of interest in any agenda items they may need to file a proper disclosure for? Anybody?
No.
All right. That being the case, then we'll move forward with the first item on the agenda, an annexation and zoning request of R1B for .46 acres at a location of 193 Green Meadow Lane by Charles Buchanan, Jr. I would first ask Mr. Worley, sitting in for Mr. Peterson today, have we received evidence of the publication, posting of signs, and notification to all adjoining owners?
All those requirements have been met.
All right, and did the Zoning Review Committee meet on this request?
Yes, we met on June 29th and reviewed all of the zoning items that are on the agenda today for this annexation and zoning request of R1B for .46 acres, 193 Green Meadow Lane. Don McGinnis, building official, stated that the .46 acre property has a 1,556 square foot single dwelling and a 1,380 square foot guest house, and is bounded on the north, south, and west by properties within Gordon County, and on the east by 3 properties zoned R1B in the city limits. Zoning of R1B would be appropriate for the house and lot size. The applicant states that the purpose of the annexation is to allow children in the home to continue to attend city school systems without paying annual tuition. The street department shows that the Green Meadow Lane is a county road with no turnaround. Police department had no issues to report. The fire department report states that this property is in the response district of Station 3. There is a problem with sustainable water supply being a distance of 1,365 feet away and on the opposite street. This would pose a problem for our normal operating procedure on a fire scene in establishing water supply. Our ordinance requires a 500 feet hydrant distance on residential housing. The electric report showed that the property is served by the North Georgia EMC. The water and sewer construction report showed that the property is currently served by a 2-inch water line, with the nearest 6-inch water line being 984 feet away at the intersection of Dews Pond Road, and there is no sewer available at this location at this time.
At this time, I would ask if the applicant is present, if they wanted to address the board. Is there anyone here in opposition to the application for annex and zoning? Do the members of the Zoning Advisory Board have any questions? Don, I will ask one with regards to the fire. We've done that before, but made them sign a waiver. Is that correct? Or have they been made aware of that fact here?
As far as I know, Tim's handling that.
Okay.
What did Tim say on Tim?
I guess we would make that requirement, or make it contingent upon them being willing to sign that agreement, and we can make sure that they've been notified.
Okay. All right. No, they wouldn't be able to get in there.
Everybody has to catch the bus at Beauty Pond Road.
Is that next to the city bus thing? The school bus?
You know where Dave Madison and Diane
Yeah.
live?
Yeah.
That street right across from it.
Oh, okay.
The dead end. I used to have on the house up there.
Okay. I was thinking it was at this closer, okay.
There's another street that's right,
Okay.
to the west of that, the dead ends too.
That
Okay.
fits into the long-range plan of the city.
That's all residential.
For the most part,
It's an infill for it.
yeah, I mean, for the most part, the majority of the subdivision has already been incorporated. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's 50 years old.
Yeah.
And sewer's not in there at all.
Do they want it?
I don't, without easements and stuff, they couldn't use it.
Do they realize that?
I think the only reason for what they purposed in their notes was to go to the utility.
And they're already attending.
I think so.
Okay. That's all septic tank service subdivision anyway, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right, then do I have first a motion regarding annexation of .46 acres at the location of 193 Green Meadow Lane into the city with the proviso that they must sign a waiver or agreement regarding the fact that it deviates from the 500 yard or 500 feet requirement that will affect their fire service if there is a problem.
I move that we accept.
All right, there being a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Being a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. All opposed? All right, the recommendation then being to the mayor and council for annexation. Do I have a motion regarding zoning of said property as R1B with the same stipulations and provisos regarding the acknowledgement and waiver of the fire service difficulties caused by being in excess of 500 yards?
So moved.
Second.
All right, there being a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion would carry for recommendation to mayor and council on Monday night that at first the property be annexed and second that it be zoned R1B with the proviso that there will need to be a written waiver or acknowledgement of some type regarding the fact that they are exceeding the 500-yard policy for the city fire department. All right, the next matter on the calendar, an annexation and zoning request of C2 for 18.92 acres at the location of Harmony. Paul? Harmony what? Harmony. Okay. Well, located at Gordon County, Platten, map number GC 56-229, Harmony, Irwin Street, South Wall Street by Butler Properties and Development, LLC. All right, first, is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant?
Yes.
Step forward. And while we know who you are, put that on the record, boy.
Shall. Terry Brumlow on behalf of the applicant, 1287 Curtis Parkway, Calhoun, GA. This one's tied to another one, so I don't know if you want to consider them both, but go ahead and do that announcement or not, the one below it.
The annexation and zoning request for C2 for .46 acres at the location of GC 42-150 at the corner of Irwin Street and South Wall Street by Lidl U.S. Operations, LLC. Because it's Butler and Lidl, let's go ahead and handle them separately.
What I say for this one goes for that one.
That'd be fine. Understand it's more of a lawyer to lawyer, it's more of a technical matter regarding the financing and such.
On behalf of my client, exciting time to be in the city of Calhoun, so everybody wants to be a part of what we got going on here. So this particular development came to me, and I'm going to hand you, those of you not familiar with Lidl, which I think is the pronunciation, they are a large European grocery chain, competes in the same realm as Aldi, and they would like to make Calhoun their home for one of their stores. They're also negotiating to have a distribution center in the Carsville area, and short folks, they're here and they want to be a part of what's happening. So they had approached me about doing the zoning. is good for Calhoun especially, and really for Calhoun and Gordon County. They seem really intent on being here. Everything that I've had in terms of my experience with them has been upright and professional. They've been negotiating with the folks here and getting close to the point where they'll need to actually close. So what they want to do is go ahead and get the zoning and everything in effect. And of course, you guys are the first line going through that. So I've got you the pictures, provided plans. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer those. And I know there were some issues that the police department laid out regarding traffic, but I think everything else is really good.
Yeah, in fact, I got a little bit ahead of myself there real quick. If you want to have a seat, Terry, let me go back. Ask Mr. Worley, have we evidence of the notifications required in the legal organ for publication, signs posted on the proposed properties, and notification evidence to all adjoining property owners?
They have been completed.
All right, and that's on both requests, correct?
On both requests, yes,
All
sir.
right. Now, was the matter reviewed by the zoning review committee?
Yes, sir. Also reviewed on June 29th on the first item of annexation and zoning of C2, 18.92 acres, GC 56-229, Irwin Street, South Wall Street by Butler Properties and Development, LLC. Don McGinnis stated that the applicant is requesting annexation and zoning of C2 for approximately 18.92 acres. The property is bounded on the southwest corner by a 0.46 acre property in Gordon County that is also proposed to be annexed. It is bounded along the north by a mix of C2 and R2 property in the city. It is bounded on the south by commercial property in Gordon County and C2 zone property in the city, and it is bounded on the east by a mix of C2 and R1 zone city property. The zoning map shows this property as one of the few parcels having frontage on South Wall Street, Highway 53 East, that has not annexed and zoned commercial. The annexation would infill a large area that is surrounded by city-zone property, and the highest and best use of the property is commercial. The property is proposed to be developed with a Lidl grocery store on the southwest corner, and future development will follow on the remaining acreage. The street department report states that this property is on a county road. A hydrology study will need to be performed prior to development due to drainage issues on the property. The police department report stated that the area around Highway 41 and Highway 53 intersection has a relatively high number of accidents. If passed, this annexation would generate more traffic than the current roadway system can safely and efficiently accommodate. Entry and exit directly from or directly to Highway 53 could be a safety issue. Additional signage and/or traffic control devices will be required. Fire department had no issues to report. Electric department shows that the property is currently served by Calhoun Utilities. The water and sewer construction report states that this area is served by a 6-inch water line and an 8-inch water line along South Wall Street. The area is served by an 8-inch sewer main running along the eastern side of the property.
All right, and was there also a review regarding the 0.46 acres?
Yeah, some of this would be redundant, but I'll just hit a couple of the high spots on the 0.46 acres. Also, the same surrounding properties, C2 for 0.46 acres, corner of South Wall Street, Irwin Street, for future use as a parking area for a proposed Lidl grocery store. Properties bounded on the north, east, and west by properties within Gordon County, and on the south by the 18 parcel already mentioned. Annexation of the acre parcel, the 0.46 acre parcel is contingent upon the annexation of the other property, and zoning of C2 would be appropriate for the proposed use of the property, considering surrounding land use in the general area. And like I mentioned, the other bullet points is as the same as the first item.
Mr. Brumlow, having addressed on behalf of the applicant, is there anybody here in opposition? There being no one here on opposition, are there any questions of the members of the board?
How big a deal is it with the police department?
It's
And the
currently an
traffic.
issue and will continue to be an issue.
Okay.
As you can see from the plat, I think Lidl's plan is to have it entry and exit from the Irwin Street. Is that right, Terry?
But would that be the only one?
Left on 41, or north wall, but they have a problem.
Oh,
I don't know if everybody know more about that than me, as they discussed it with Bill too or anything.
I'm not sure. I really haven't been privy to that.
room enough
Yeah.
to put a light there and give them a light, a turn, it really left us down too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be outside of our control. That's, their little plastic sticks will probably have to go. We'll let people turn left there. And, you know, this is the tip of the iceberg. I mean, Lidl's great, and I think it'll be a good addition, but we all know what's coming. I mean, that's too big a track. It's in too good a location, and, you know, we're in the midst of a growth spurt. So
Something has to go there.
something's going to be coming. I don't know what it is, but we're going to, something, you can look at other communities and what's come. You get a grocery store, you get some of these other ancillary uses. So that's what's going to happen. Eventually, it'll all be down on the 5341, but this one's, because of the way it's set up now and the way this has got to be done, then they'll have to use Irwin Street.
And Don and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but from various meetings besides this meeting, the city's plan is long-term is for eventual adoption or dedication of Irwin Street and development of that area anyway. Is that correct? So traffic problems that are immediate will be addressed as Irwin continues to develop, but it's expected as part of a long-term development project.
And as we're talking, you know, they're working on Paper Street too, so that's another way out for them also.
Yeah, we've had discussions with the county about partnering with upgrades to Irwin Street, very similar to match the upgrades currently in progress for Peter Street.
I mean, basically the expectation right now jointly between the city and the county is for Irwin to explode developmentally wise, correct? All right. Anybody else?
And as Terry spoke a while ago, George, next month, they're gonna be asking for a setback of 15 feet from Irwin Street to the building.
All right.
I'll be back.
Let me first then ask, do I have a motion regarding the annexation of 18.92 acres at location GC 56, or the map and parcel number of GC 56-229 near the Irwin Street, South Wall Street area, to annex that into the city? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion, 2 seconds. I'm assuming all in favor say aye. There being any opposed, say nay. All right, now with the motion carried to recommend annexation to the mayor and council regarding the 18.92 acres, is there a motion regarding zoning that was newly annexed acreage in as C2?
I move C2.
All right, there being a motion, do I have a second? There being a motion to second, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Let the record reflect then the motion carries for recommendation to the mayor and council first for annexation of GC 56-229 consisting of 18.92 acres into the city, and then following a recommendation for a zoning request of same property as C2. Moving on to the next matter, conjunctive with this, do I have a motion regarding the annexation of the .46 acres known as GC 42-150 by map and parcel in the same location?
So moved.
All right. There being a motion to and a second, all in favor say aye.
All.
All opposed? Let the record reflect the motion carries for recommendation of annexation of the .46 acres into the city. That being said, is in conjunction with that motion, do I have a motion with regards to the zoning of C2 for .46 acres?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion to second, all in favor of a recommendation of zoning this new acreage C2, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect then that on this matter, the recommendation of the Zoning Advisory Board would be for annexation of .46 acres located at map and parcel of GC 42-150, consisting, and that once annexed, the recommendation of the board is that it be zoned C2. Moving on to the next matter, an annexation and zoning request of C2 for 1.49 acres at a location of 290 Timms Road by Brian Young. I would, going back to the proper order, Mr. Worley in place of Mr. Peterson today, do we have evidence of the proper legal Oregon publications for notice, signs posted on the property, and notification to the adjoining property owners?
Yes, sir, they have.
Was the matter reviewed by the Zoning Review Committee?
Yes, sir.
What are the findings of the Zoning Review Committee or recommendations?
The finding, Don McGinnis stated the applicant is requesting annexation and zoning of C2 for approximately 1.49 acres. The property is bounded on the north, south, and west by properties within the city limits zoned C2 and on the east by properties zoned R1B, R2 in a parcel in Gordon County. The applicant states that the property he currently operates a used car lot on has been sold, and he plans to use the 1.49 acres to operate this business on. A 1,539 square foot single family dwelling is currently inhabited on the property and would be considered a legal non-conforming use. C2 zoning would be appropriate for the property considering surrounding property land uses along the Redbud Road corridor and future land use map. The street department report states that this is a city street with peak traffic volumes in the mornings and afternoons. A hydrology study will need to be done when developed. The police department and fire department had no issues. The electric department report shows that the property is currently served by Calhoun Utilities. The water and sewer construction report states this area is served by a 6-inch water line. This property could be served by city sewer service. A private pumping system would need to be installed by the customer.
Let me ask first if there's anybody here to speak on behalf of the applicant. Step forward. And if you would, for Ms. Nelson, for the record, state your name and your address.
Brian Young, 392 Curtis Parkway, Calhoun, Georgia.
All right. Please address the board.
The property, this property here is adjacent to the other property I own, which is the car wash. The car wash is going to be turned in to the office building, and that's really just going to be the parking lot motion out there with this land. It probably won't have nothing to build on. If it does, it might have just a shop built on the back side of it. The office, the main portion will be the car wash part, which is already C1. It's adjacent to this. It's right across from the Georgia Medical Center.
If I'm looking at the plat that the survey plat you had provided, Mr. Young, you're talking about the car wash is already sitting on the piece of property that's C65? Yeah, okay.
It's already C1, the property behind us, acre and a half, 1.49, which is
All right.
horrible.
But you're saying you're going to remove the car wash there to place the administrative office there and then use the rest for parking? Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
There might be a building on the back side at the bottom of the property, but the main office and all will be the car wash. It's on a different property.
Chain link fences. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Is there anybody here speaking opposition to the application? That being said, then, there being no one to speak in opposition, do I have a motion with regards to, first, the annexation of 1.49 acres at 290 Thames Road within the city?
I'll move we on that.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. All opposed? With regards to the follow-up on the annexation, do I have a motion regarding a zoning request of C2 for said acreage?
So moved.
There being a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Then let the minutes reflect that the Zoning Advisory Board has approved recommendation for annexation of 1.49 acres at the location of 290 Thames Road within the city, and a recommendation to the Mayor and Council that that area be now zoned C2. And we'll see you on Monday. Brian.
You do know by the house being non-conforming, if it burns down or something, you can replace it and all this. Right.
He's not gonna burn it.
Won't collect the insurance people.
Better not be.
I would be remiss as counsel to remind you that we are on YouTube, and that was just a joke.
Absolutely.
All right, the final matter on the agenda for today, a zoning request for C2 of approximately 1.815 acres at a location of parcel and map number C11-7076 and C11-071 in the area of Court Street, North River Street by the Bagwell family. Mr. Worley, in place of Mr. Peterson, have we proof of all publications of notice in the legal organ, signs posted on at the proposed property, and notification to the adjoining property owners?
Yes, sir, we have.
And was this matter reviewed by the Zoning Review Committee?
Yes, sir. Don McGinnis stated the applicant is requesting rezoning of 2 adjoining parcels of property totaling approximately 1.815 acres. First parcel is 1.07 acres and has frontage on North River Street and is bounded on the north, south, and west by property zoned R2 in the city and on the east by C2 zoned property in the city. The second parcel is 0.72 acres and has frontage on Court Street and is bounded on the north, west, and east by property zoned R2 in the city and on the south by property zoned C2 in the city. The applicant states that the proposed use is to build a warehouse/office building. If constructed, a 20-foot buffer will be required to be met between the C2 and R2 property boundaries. Presently, the general area is a mix of R2 and C2 zoning, with the majority of the land being commercial. The street department report states that a hydrology study will need to be done when developed. West side stormwater drainage is at capacity now. The police department and fire department had no issues to report. Electric department shows that the property is served by Calhoun Utilities. The water and sewer construction report states that this area is served by a 6-inch water line along Court Street and a 4-inch water line in River Street. This property could be served by an 8-inch sewer line running along Court Street and an 8-inch sewer line in River Street.
All right. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let the record reflect Mr. Brumlow is getting a lot of business today. Please feel free to address the members of the board.
And this one, I'm still excited because the Bagley family's had this for quite some time, and they have a potential purchaser who wants to put a warehouse office type facility there. Obviously, that area is sort of a mix, but as Mr. Worley mentioned, it is trending towards commercial, and I think the use is in conformity with what's going on there in that area, and there again, hopefully to bring more jobs, more revenue, more everything to the city. We would ask that the recommendation be made for approval of the zone.
Right. Is anyone here speak in opposition or be heard in opposition to the request? All right, there being no opposition, is there questions by the board?
I have a question. Okay, I saw on Court Street where you're supposed to go.
River Street.
I mean on River Street.
There's one on Court too. It makes a L shape.
So do they connect?
Yes.
And you're gonna put a warehouse where?
Be a warehouse office space. I'm not sure the exact, I don't know if they're that far into it. In reference
That
to
lot on Court, I mean on River Street doesn't look big enough for a warehouse.
Pretty good size.
Hmm?
When you put them both together, I mean,
Well, if you,
well, the good thing is they could do it in such a way it wouldn't front on the road, because they can go back and turn and then they have access
It
to
goes a
roads.
long way back.
okay, but there's residential on one side of it, right? Or on both sides of it? Okay.
In reference to the hydrology study, Mark Moman has acted as sort of a consultant with potential buyer, and he's indicated they do have a hydrology study and are meeting basic water quality standards. So, and they'll do what needs to be done for us to be able to do that and work with Don towards getting that done.
Any other questions? All right.
It's better than multi-family, which is something too, and they could do that.
I move that we,
Well, let me ask for, I'm chair. I don't get much. Just give me this. All right. Do I have a motion regarding the zoning request for C2 of approximately 1.815 acres, known as parcel and map C11-076 and C11-071, which are already in the city from their current zoning to C2?
I so move.
There being a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Let the record reflect and the minutes reflect it. The recommendation of the Zoning Advisory Board is for a zoning change or zoning this area of acreage to C2. And that would be the last matter I have on my agenda. Are there any other matters that did not make the agenda? That being said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
There being... Again, don't make me break out my parliamentary rule. No, I'm just kidding. There being a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. We are closed.